darker but lighter. I want to use color, but we're segmenting this out so we're not overwhelming everyone. Oh, glorious. One thing I might do is, can you see these little guys point out in the corners here? I'm going to get rid of my strokes completely. And we'll cover it a bit more when we do lines, but I'm just going to delete them. So strokes are going to be none. So I've just got kind of a full color. Whenever you're presenting a logo, I always find, I don't know why, it might just be me. I'm going to draw a giant rectangle in the background because what I like to present on is a darker kind of gray. Logos are cool. You never get to use them on this dark gray, but they always look nice presented against a nice solid gray. So with my black arrow, I've got it selected. I'm going to say arrange center back, and I picked the same gray as that. See, my friend, need a different gray. Darker. Oh yeah, look at that. How good is that M? Alright, that is going to be us. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. I too want you to enjoy the joys of drawing lines. You've probably done the M with me. I would like you to pick another letter. Try not to pick anything that has a roundy part because we just drew it with lines. So pick a letter that can be drawn with straight lines, and I'd love to see what you do. Try your first name or your last name, whatever the first initial is or the last initial is. Mine's Dan Scott, so it's terrible. D's and S's aren't good for this tutorial. So my middle name is W for Walter, so I could just turn this upside down, I guess, but I want you to practice, draw a different letter, an E or an F or an L, something that has straight lines, and I'd love to see what you did. Remember on Twitter, we are Dan Loves Adobe, and make sure you tag Envato Tuts Plus as well. It's Tuts Plus Design. Those are both for Twitter. If you're more of an Instagram person, tag me in it. I am Bring Your Own Laptop. Alright, let's get on to the next video where we, instead of using simple shapes to make illustrations, we're going to use something called the curvature tool to draw our own custom stuff. There'll be curves involved. Alright, let's jump into it now. Hello Illustrator learners! In this video, we are going to draw all of these icons using the curvature tool. It's like the pen tool, just a bit easier. Let's get started. Alright, to get started, let's make a new blank document. So File New. It's already loaded with my last thing I've done. Okay, so I've set it to inches and it's just remembered landscape US letter. Okay, I'm going to click Create. I'm going to bring in something we're going to trace, and a little tip for you if you are bringing in things to be traced. If I leave it here, can you see it's kind of offset a little bit to the right of my screen? It's going to put my trace document overlapping this edge here. But if I quickly go to View and go to Fit Upwards Window, okay, so it's in the center. Now when I bring it in, it's going to be in the middle. It's a weird little quirk. Alright, so go up to File and go to Place. In your exercise files, there's one called redraw-icons.png, and just make sure it's a template because it's going to put it on its own layer, fade it out so we can trace over the top. Click Place. Awesome. Okay, so there's my redraw layer, and we're going to use this thing here called the curvature tool. That looks very close to the pen tool. If the word pen tool is not new to you, you'll probably know the pen tool, which we're going to cover in the next video, is, man, it's hard to learn. Not impossible, just harder than the curvature tool. It's a new tool, the curvature tool. I love that Adobe Illustrator invented this tool. It's super quick, super easy. I love it. It's like the simplified version of the pen tool. Okay, so give it a click. And what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on this, like, it's meant to be a palette, like an artist's palette paint thing. Zoom in again. And we're going to start with a circle in the center here. So we could just use the ellipse tool, I know, but we're learning the curvature tool. And for a circle, just so you know, there are 4 points that make up a circle. And how you use the curvature tool to do it is you click once at the top, or once on the side, or once on the bottom. And you can see there, I'm going to start again. Click once, nothing happens. Click again, and you're like, this is not very curvature tool-like. Okay, it's not till you kind of move the mouse out. I'm not doing anything. It just kind of starts guessing about what you want to do, which is super cool. Click once at the bottom, click once there, click once more to close it all up. And it's a pretty good circle. I haven't done it perfectly, but it's pretty clever. What I'll do as well is I'm going to turn my fill to none and my stroke to black, 1 point. You do that as well. Well, pick anything. Just turn the fill off in the middle so we can see through. So drawing circles, easy enough. What we're going to do now is this outside where there's kind of curves going each way. So where do you know how to click? We kind of know from the circle here that there kind of should be a point out here and maybe one at the bottom, but all the rest of them are like, where do I put this curvature tool? The answer is just where the apexes are, where the middle of a curve is. So you can kind of see there's a curve here and there's another curve going the other way. I'd say that's the middle of this one and kind of there's the middle of this one going that way. So let's start there in this dip. So I'm going to click once. Remember, nothing really happens. I'm going to click the second one at the top here because that feels like the middle. This feels like the middle of this one. We can move them afterwards, don't worry. And again, we just get this weird straight line. And it's not until we kind of move over here do we decide, now don't worry about the curve, the blue line coming out. Don't try and line it up. People try and line it up here. Just know that, remember our circle before kind of had one over here and there was one down the bottom. And you can see this curve looks not very good, right? But when I come down to the second one, there's a little bit of faith involved, okay? You learn how the curvature tool works a little bit, kind of from experience. It's kind of a little bit hard to explain sometimes. But if you put the curves kind of halfway around this curve, a little bit down here, maybe another one there, you can delete and add them later on. Now this curve here, where is the center of it? It's kind of about there. And then back to the beginning here. And all I do is click once and it completes it all up. Cool, huh? And the nice thing about it is they're really fluid line. Okay, a couple of things that you might run into trouble with is you might find it a little bit tough using the smart guides. I've turned mine off. I cheated at the beginning. Okay, I should have said at the beginning, but go to view and I've turned smart guides off by clicking the little tick. It just turns off. And make sure you turn it on later on because it's quite helpful. I'll try and remind you. But sometimes, like I said at the beginning, the smart guides can just be more hassle than they're worth. All right, what else can we do with this curvature tool? Say you kind of like it and you're like, oh, it's almost there. This one's a little bit wrong. So I'm still using my curvature tool. I can just click, hold, and drag them around. Okay, because I told you like one needs to be there and one needs to be there, but when you're doing it on your own, you're going to be like, oh, I don't know where these go. And you're just going to click all over the place. So what you can do, just fix them up. Just throw them in. Don't worry. Get them in roughly where they need to go. Even if it looks bad, okay, you can grab these guys, click on them. It kind of goes blue. Then I can click and drag them to say, I want you to be a bit further up there. And maybe you around here a bit more. And maybe you look better down here. You can see I'm kind of trying to fix it by moving these guys around. Cool. What else can you do? Maybe you've not got enough. Okay, say you didn't put one over here, okay, and it's just, you just can't do it. You can move this one around and you can move this one down. There's just not enough control, right? So I need another one to help me out. So to add another one, all you do is use the same tool and just, you can kind of see the icon changes from this. See the little plus appears? So asterisk plus. Okay, the little plus button just says I'm going to add a point and then it'll give you a little bit more control. And the kind of tip, I guess, the pro tip is it will be most smooth with the least amount of these little dots. They're called anchor points, okay? The fewer of these you can have, the nicer the curve will be. So you might get tempted just to put in loads of these because then you get to do all this like really fine adjustment, okay? And it doesn't matter how good you are. I'm pretty good, okay? But if I have lots of anchor points, okay, it can look kind of good. But then if I click off, and I'll turn off my trace layer. Can you see it's just a little bit wobbly down the bottom? It's not bad, okay, but it's just it's not super smooth like up here. Oh, look how good that is, and look how little bit wobbly that is. Okay, to delete points, use the same tool, so curvature tool, give them a click, and all you do is hit delete on your keyboard. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. All right. Now, there will be a point where this curvature tool is good, but it's hiding some of the like nitty-gritty detail, okay? So if there is times where you just need a little bit more control, what you can do is you can ditch the curvature tool once you've got it all in there and start using this guy here. Remember the black selection tool? Okay, the black arrow? That's for moving this thing around, kind of the whole thing physically. The white arrow, remember, is moving little parts within this object around. Okay, so I can use my white arrow, click on any of these anchor points and say it's this one here that I want to fix. I can physically move them like I did in the curvature tool. But also I can do, I'm going to zoom in a bit, is I've got these two little guys here. They're always there. The curvature tool hides them just to make the tool, I guess, a little easier for people that are new. But these guys can be quite handy. So this is considered what is an anchor point. Okay, so this is the line has to run through him. Doesn't matter, has to go through it. These guys influence how that line kind of gets to it. So they're kind of like influencing the line or gravity. They're kind of trying to pull it towards them. They're like little moons. So watch this. If I grab it and drag it, can you see it's influencing the line? It's not like 100% moving it to follow it, but it's kind of dragging it out. Okay, and you can do a couple of things. Is you can drag it in nice and tight, so both sides. You can see with the handles quite close to the anchor point, it's quite an acute curve. Okay, acute. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but kind of pointy curve. Okay, and the further they are out, if I drag them right out, can you see they make it quite flat through that anchor point. So there's a bit of playing around and getting used to these guys. Click, hold, and drag it, and don't be afraid to do this. Wiggle, 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 and just kind of work out what it does. And kind of I'm looking for this side a little bit, and then this guy over here. And what you'll find with them, it's kind of a seesaw. Okay, where I fix this side, I get this looking nice, and I've wrecked that side. You're like, oh no. Fix that side. And I've wrecked that side. And what you'll find is little by little, you'll kind of work them in until they both kind of sit happily. And you can also see this guy is influencing the line as it comes through this anchor point. So we might play around with him as well. So this white arrow gives us really fine adjustment. It's a bit finicky, but sometimes you need finickiness to get it all nice and pretty. All right, so that's doing a big curve. Let's do corners. Okay, so the curvature tool. Okay, if I just click once, you end up with a kind of a weird looking, it's meant to be a funnel. Okay, this funnel here obviously is not working good with the curvature tool. So you can use the curvature tool to do straight lines. So I'm going to just hit delete, just delete everything there. So to do a corner, so clicking once gives you a curve, right? So what you do is you double click to get a corner. So I know this is a corner, double click. That's a corner, double click, double click, double click. You get the idea, right? So doing straight lines is easy. Just got to remember to double click. Now, when you go back to the beginning, this is going to be weird. Watch, double click. Oh, what happened? It's a quirk, okay? If I undo again. So what's happening is when I go back to the beginning, it already knows it's a corner because we told it at the beginning. We double click and said, you're a corner. So when I get back to here, I don't actually need to do anything. Okay, just click it once. And it kind of just accepts whatever I originally put it there. If I double click it, what it's saying is I'm completing it and then trying to convert it to a curve. Okay, so it's a bit weird. All you need to know is when you get round to the beginning, where's my curvature tool? You want to join it back up, you don't have to do anything, just click once. Curve, corner, just kind of finish it up by clicking it once. If you do end up doing this, okay, all you need to do is double click it again and it converts it from curve to corner, curve to corner. Okay, say you liked all this, but you want these to be curves, double click, and we have kind of a weird funnel. So let's do this example now. This is a bit of both curves and corners. So what you've got to do is, what I find the easiest for new students is, before you click, is to ask yourself, is this a corner or a curve? Okay, this is a corner, clearly. Okay, some sort of sharp corner. So, and remember, corners are double clicks. Okay, sharp edges. Remember, clicking once gives you lovely curves, and double clicking gives you a corner. So that's what we're going to do. This one here, double click. Now this big arc along here, where is about halfway? I feel like that's about halfway. Click once for a curve. This is a corner or a curve. It's a curve, so just click once. Over here, corner or curve, it's a curve. It's a curve. Back to here, remember, it doesn't matter what you decide. You've already called this a corner, so I just click it once. If you accidentally get it like this, what do? Double click it again, and it goes back to being a corner. Again, if we haven't got it quite right, we can just drag these around. We can add new points by just clicking anywhere, and we can delete them just by hitting the delete key on our keyboard. Same again here. I could copy, paste it, reflect it, but that's not what we're doing. We're learning the curvature tool. So this curve here, I'm going to click once because it's a curve, right? Is this a curve? Yeah, it's a curve. Yeah, it's a curve. I'm guessing because I'm like, where do these curves go? I can adjust it later on, don't worry. This one here, is it a corner or a curve? Ah, it's a corner. So what was it? Double click. Down here, curve. Back to the beginning, just click it once. It's a bit ugly, but we can fix it. Drag it around, add, remove, and if I want to kind of finesse it a bit more, remember the white arrow, click on this fella, move him around, start adjusting the handles, okay, and get a bit more finer control. All right, let's look at this fella here. Pretty easy, except I wanted to have something like this because I wanted to show you a straight line that goes into a curve. That's the kind of last thing we need to acknowledge or work out how to do. So let's do the circle at the beginning. So curvature tool, and just so you know, or just so you remember, it's one in every kind of corner, north, south, east, west. Even though I got that pretty off, it's still a pretty good circle. Now, I want to draw this bottom part, and this is going to lead me to one issue you're going to run into, is I want to start this line here, so I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to double click there, and it didn't connect up. Why? I'm going to undo and undo. It's because when in my head, I'm like, yeah, I want to start a line there and draw down, but what the computer's seeing is, can you see the little plus button? Add an anchor point there. And then down here it says, well, that's, nowhere near that line, so you probably want to start another line, and you kind of go off. So you need to kind of acknowledge, or at least tell Illustrator that we don't want to work with this. And the easiest way is, with it selected, it's currently selected. If it's not, click it with the black arrow, and just go up to Object and lock it. Can you see this one that says Object Lock Selection? And it just temporarily locks it. Okay, I can't drag it or move it. It's the same as we did earlier on. Remember our layers panel? we put things on its own layer and then locked it. It's just like a smaller version of that. Because in this case, I don't really want its own special layer for a circle. I just want to temporarily do it. And when you want to